Yeah. Let's get it.
Hey guys, it's Big Boy JC and you're watching Drive Life. Just now getting off work. It's Wednesday night. Going to the Twin Peaks here in San Marcos for a little car show, car meet, get together, what have you. So I got off work a little bit early to go tend to that. And thought I'd do a little video for you guys. It's story time. Start doing these little stories when I'm driving back and forth from work, since I got this long drive now. And today what I'm going to talk about is the OGs, the old original gangsters. You don't see too many OGs or original gangsters out there in the streets anymore these days. Hardly wherever you go. It's kind of a dying thing, you know, to be a gangster. And gangsters were cool back in my day, you know, when I was growing up. You know, I'm 51 years old, so whenever I was a teenager and those younger years, you know, gangsters were still kind of cool. You know, most of them, they could do some stuff and then they could do some good stuff. So you got to take the good with the bad, you know, is what they say. So, but I want to tell you about where I grew up at in Altus, Oklahoma. It's a little shithole town. You know everybody. When you live there, you know everybody. It was a military town when I lived there. They got a big Air Force base there, and they had a lot of people at that Air Force base whenever I was living there and growing up there. Now the Air Force base is about a quarter of the size of personnel as it was back then, so it's kind of like a ghost town now. It's like nobody's hardly there. When I went back the last time a couple years ago, it was like I said, a ghost town, dead, nothing to do, nobody there. Some of the still the same businesses there and stuff like that. I can't believe that I grew up there, that it used to feel different, you know, when you had all those Air Force and military people running around. But anyway, the story I'm gonna tell is about a guy that I knew there, and his dad was a OG pimp, and then he was a pimp. So both of them were a pimp, and anyway, they were the town pimps, and I knew them from a young age. My mom had a restaurant at the time. She was well known all over there. My whole family was well known. My dad was a coach, so everybody knew us in the community. And my mom knew who this one guy was. If you come across this video and you're from Altus, you may know who I'm talking about or pick up on it, and you probably will when I start telling the story. But anyway, they had a old apartment building downtown on the square is what we called it. And it was right across the street from the city of Altus municipal courts and everything, right there where all the big businesses were. And that supposedly is where they kept all the girls at for business, and they lived in those apartments. And I guess if you wanted to use their services, you'd go and rent a room in that hotel and have one of the girls there with you for the night or whatever. You know, I guess that's how it worked. I never made it inside. But when I was 12 years old, I remember one time, it was summertime, and me and one of my buddies were at home and didn't have nothing to do, and we were bad. We were always trying to do some bad stuff. And so I looked up the number to the apartments downtown, and I called them up, and somebody answered the phone, and I said, "Hey, how old you got to be to rent one of those rooms down there?" And the guy on the other end of the phone, he told me, "Johnny, if you don't hang up that phone, I'm going to tell your mama you're trying to call up here and get you a room." And I hung the phone up real quick, you know, like he was going to tell on me and I was going to get in trouble. So I hung the phone up real quick. Never said nothing to my mom about it, but like I said, he knows my mom real well from the restaurant and everything. So I was like, okay, I'm going to hang up. I hang up. Never said nothing about it. But as years went by, I grew up, got older, started doing more stuff, was always still trying to be a little gangster in my own right there. And by the time I was 17, I had a detail shop, and my detail shop was going pretty good. Everybody knew me. Everybody bring their cars there. I'd get them, clean it up for them. When I was in high school, I had a detail shop open my senior year, and some of my teachers would drop their cars off there, and their cars would be getting cleaned by people I had working for me while I was at school. So that was pretty cool. But this guy, every time I would see him out in public later on, you know, I'd always talk to him. He'd check me. Hey, Johnny. Hey, JC. How you doing, man? What's going on? How's the family? He's always checking on me and stuff like that. And I was always hitting him up. Hey, I need to make some money, you know. Give me a job. Give me something I can do to where I can make a good chunk of change, you know, so I can pay some bills off and put some wheels on my car and do some stuff like that, you know. And he was like, you know, if I put you to work and put you out there in the street like that, he said, your mama's gonna come and kick my ass, and neither one of us wants that. And I was like, no, we don't want that. So he never would let me do anything wrong, or never let me do anything bad. So he came by my detail shop one day, and he said, you were needing to make some money when you hollered at me the other day. He said, you still need to make some money? And I said, yeah. And he says, how much to clean those windows on that Cadillac out there? And I said, I don't know, $250. And he said, well, get out there and clean her. So I got out there and I cleaned all of his windows real good on his Cadillac, and he gave me $250. So for the next couple of weeks, he would come by and bring his different cars over there and have me clean up all the windows and pay me a couple $100 here and there. And over a period of a couple of weeks, I made some money to do what I was trying to do at that time. But he never would let me, you know, do anything bad or anything like that for him. And I was always hitting him up, man. I was always hitting him up, trying to do something like that, and he never would let me. I heard one time I saw him, he had a couple of girls with him, and he had a truck with suicide doors on it, and it was a stretched out truck like a limousine, had a wet bar with liquor and glasses and all kinds of stuff inside. It was a badass truck. And I saw that. I saw various Cadillacs that he had. He's a Cadillac collector. So he bought all these different Cadillacs, put them in garages. I'll go see him. Hell, I even painted one. There was a limousine, and we took it one time to drive it. And we pulled up to in front of this place where I got my hair cut at. And he knew all the girls in there, and I knew all the girls in there. So when we pulled up, the windows were so dark you couldn't see who was in the car or who was driving the car. So we parked it, and we climbed all the way from the front seats to the back seat of the limo. And then we got out the back doors and went into the hair salon, and the girls were like, well, who's driving the limo? And we said, a limo driver. And then one of the girls said, take us for a ride, take us for a ride. So he said, come on. So we all piled in the back, and we got in the car, and they all looked up to the front, and there was nobody driving. And then he told me, hey, go on up there, get back up there and drive. So they all started laughing because they figured out, you know, what we did to try to trick them. And he was always doing some crazy stuff like that. Years later, I was married, and he'd always check in on me and see how I was doing, see if I needed, you know, money or whatnot. But like again, years later, even knowing the stuff that I did, little stuff that I did, got in trouble for and whatnot, he still wouldn't let me do anything bad for him to ruin his name with my mom or my family. He didn't want them to ever look down on him or think that he was a bad guy, so he never would let me do nothing like that. But when I was married, he told me, if you need to make some money, I got something for you to do. And I was like, well, hell yeah, I need to make some money. He said, all right, well, put on that black leather coat you got. I had a big, long trench coat. He said, put on that black leather trench coat, and I want you to go downtown to this restaurant. It was a famous restaurant that was there. It's still there today. It ain't going nowhere. He said, I want you to go into that restaurant, and I want you to make sure everybody in that restaurant sees you. People that are sitting there eating, the cooks, going to the bathrooms. He said, I want you to go everywhere in that restaurant and make sure everybody in that restaurant makes eye contact with you. After that, come by my house, and I'll give you $500. And I said, well, what do you want me to do? He said, don't worry about what it is. Just go show yourself over there, make sure everybody sees you. Come by my house, and I got you $500. So I said, all right. So I told my wife at the time, she said, what do you want you to do that for? I said, I don't know, but it's $500. So I got my black jacket out, went to the restaurant, walked in there, walked through all the restaurant area, made sure everybody saw me. I looked at everybody, made sure I made eye contact, went to the kitchen, opened up the bathroom, made sure everybody in the bathroom saw me if anybody was in there, and walked out, got in the car, drove over to his house, and when I pulled up to his house, he was already out in the yard with the $500 in his hand. He said, they seen you, they saw you, here's your money. And I was like, all right, well, if you need me to do anything else, holler at me. He said, all right. So, didn't know what I did. Must have intimidated somebody. He must have told him that he was watching them and he got a guy in there. Don't be messing up or something. I have no idea what he said, but anyway, I got paid $500. And then a few years later, he had called me up one night. It was real late. He had my number. He always had my number. He called me up real late and asked me what I was doing. I said, nothing, man. And he said, I need you to do me a favor. And I said, what's that? He said, about 3 o'clock in the morning, I need you to come pick me up and give me a ride to my house. He said, and then at before 5 in the morning, I need you to pick me back up at my house and take me back. And I was like, well, where are you at? And he said, I'm in the county jail right now. So they was going to let him out. Whoever was watching him in that jail was going to let him out for a couple hours to go home. And he said he was going home to get his diabetes medicine or whatever. And but anyway, whatever he did, they let him out. I went and picked him up, gave him a ride, picked him back up, took him back, and he walked back in, you know. So that's the kind of jailhouse we had. If you were popular, I guess they let you out on your own curricular activities, extracurricular activities or whatnot. But that dude was a trip, man. I've known him for a long time. He's still hanging out, still alive. I think he had some heart issues and stuff like that, but he's still kicking. I think he ended up buying some cattle in Dallas, Texas, starting a ranch. But yeah, those were some crazy days back then. His son started calling me Steel whenever I was younger. I was a big old muscle dude back in the day, and they called me Steel. He told his son I was made of steel, so his son started calling me Steel. But I miss those dudes, man. Yeah, he was a pimp and a gangster, but he was well liked by a lot of people, and he did a lot of good for a lot of people. And I was just thinking about that the other day, how the old gangsters were different than these new age gangsters. The new age gangsters, they don't care about nobody but themselves, and you know, they'll get in trouble for this, get in trouble for that, and they don't care who looks at them in what way. But the old gangsters, they had some couth about them, you know. People knew they was doing stuff they weren't supposed to be doing, but then there was people in the community that were good people that would still be friends with them because they would do good stuff too, and they never would let those nice people, you know, get hurt or anything like me. You know, you never would let me do anything to hurt myself or jeopardize myself or go to jail or do anything like that. He always protected me and other guys that I knew, but he would hook us up in other ways. So that was a cool little story, you know, about where I grew up at and everything like that. But it was a fun time. It was a different time way back then. You know, we didn't have cell phones. I joke about it a lot of times and say, hey, if we had cell phones back then, a lot of us, me and my friends included, would be ran off to jail or prison or whatnot for doing some stupid crap and being caught on film, because that's how we were back then. But luckily we didn't have any ways to record it and keep it around forever to incriminate anybody. So nowadays you got cameras everywhere, you know. But yeah, it was a whole different time back then. So if you guys like this video, help a brother out. I'm driving in some areas here that I'm not familiar with, and they got some orange barrels out here like construction, so I'm trying to see if I'm going the right direction. But yeah, you guys know that I'm in a bind right now. I got my surgery coming up. You know, I'm worried about how I'm going to pay for my surgery, how I'm going to get my surgery done, how I'm going to pay my bills when I get the surgery done. You know, so I got my website up. If you guys need some baby clothes, baby onesies that are funny and edgy, go to dripstarkings.com. If you need something from Amazon, you guys know that I got my Amazon affiliate link now, so I'll put that down in the description of the video. Also, go through that link, buy whatever you want at Amazon. If you need some Amazon, go find my link, go through it, go buy something, and I get a small commission. If everybody does that, you know, I'll be able to go get my surgery without any worries and without any problems, and keep on trucking, you know. So if everybody would do that, that would help out a lot. Also, like and comment and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. Liking this video, commenting on this video helps me out as a videographer. It helps me out, get my videos out there to other people that can't see them, and that'll help me out too. So like I said, I'm gonna start telling little stories about what I did, you know, growing up as a teenager, high schooler, young adult. You know, I got some more crazy stories that happened when I used to work in the bar business. I was a bouncer for a lot of years, and I got some crazy stories to tell you about those. And you know, people that know me, that can figure out what I'm talking about, they know that a lot of this stuff is good stuff, good material, and they can verify a lot of it for me. So I hope you liked the story, and if you did, give me a thumbs up, give me a comment, and let me know what you want to see in some next videos coming up. But I'm gonna get out of here. I gotta go get over to this car meet and car show. I'm the host, and I'm supposed to be there in 1 minute, so I gotta get off here so I can turn my GPS on and figure out where I'm going. But tell your loved ones you love them, guys, because you never know. Tomorrow's not always promised, and you don't want to leave this world without letting them know that you care about them and that you love them. And if you got any beefs with anybody, squash it, because that's not any way to live either, to have beefs with somebody and know you got enemies out there that are after you, and people that don't like you. Just squash it. Even if you got to be the bigger man, go ahead and do it. You'll feel better about yourself in the long run, I promise you. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.